So a couple of years ago, I started a tradition where I would start the year off with a reread. The first book I read would be a favorite, something I'd already loved. And for 3 years, that worked brilliantly. It was such a great start to my reading year. Until this year, when everything just went horribly wrong. This year I decided to start with an old favorite that I had never reread. I'd only read it once, but I really loved it when I read it. And it was Just One Day by Gayle Forman, a book about a girl who goes abroad and adventures happen, and I really loved it when I first read it. And now I have lived abroad and studied abroad, and I thought, hey, this might be really relatable. I'd really love to reread it. And something really bad happened. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. And it just made this giant kind of existential book crisis, because it made me realize that some books you read at the perfect time and that's it. So another example is Animal Farm. Now, I have reread Animal Farm since I first read it, and for me this book holds up. I read it when I think I was 16, and it was the first English class I'd ever taken where I actually started to fall in love with literature, and I started to realize that there was a lot to examine, a lot to learn from reading books. And because I was this young kid, so excited about everything, I found the politics of everything, the revolutionary concepts of everything, exciting. It's very possible that if I'd read this years later, I'd still love it, but maybe it wouldn't be my favorite book, because my mind, my experiences, myself, I'd be at a totally different place. Which brings me back to this one. If I hadn't read it when I was 17 or 18, I don't remember, if I hadn't read it then, and I'd waited until I was now 21, I wouldn't like this book. And I find that so interesting. I think it really shows that how, like, what you're going through in life directly links to how you're going to react to a piece of literature. And another example, I've just got all the examples. Another example is this little poetry collection that I picked up randomly. Dear Boy by Emily Berry. A few of the poems in here are about long-distance relationships. I am currently in a long-distance relationship. My boyfriend, who I love very much, lives across an ocean away. And so because of that, I read these long-distance relationship poems and they mean so much to me. But if I wasn't in a long-distance relationship, maybe I'd still like the poems. Maybe they I'm not saying they don't have legs unless you are in a long-distance relationship, but they wouldn't hit me as hard. You know, they wouldn't impact me as hard. So I think that there definitely is this concept of reading something at the right time. It really goes to show that our reading is so fickle. Like, our opinions and experiences and just overall reviews of books have so much to just do with us. When I'm reading something, I'm projecting all of the stuff that I've experienced in my life, and I'm projecting all of the stuff that I feel in that moment, my hopes, my desires, into what I'm reading, subconsciously, consciously, whatever way that manifests itself. When we think about why something is our favorite book, what that had to do with the time in which we first read it, all sorts of implications here. I think I'm going to be thinking about this stuff for a while to come, but what I will leave you with as a bit of a conclusion is that I've decided to stop reading Just One Day. This book meant a lot to me at the time, and reading it now is tearing that apart. So while if I had to entertain an objective conversation about it, I'd be totally game, and I could do that, I think, I'm not gonna subject myself to it for my pleasure reading. So I would really love to hear what you guys think. Do you have a book that you think you read at the perfect time? Do you have a book you think you love when you read it, but if you read it later, maybe you wouldn't have loved it? Leave your thoughts down in the comments. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one.